Hey guys, 65 Ford here, playing around with the Polaris Trailblazer, and I'm to a point, I got it ripped apart pretty good. I have no idea if the carburetor needs to be cleaned on this one, but I'm going to clean the carb. Thought, bring you guys along for it. So we got a 2001 Polaris 250 Trailblazer. Here we go. I was doing some transmission work, so I got everything removed how you would normally, but you wouldn't normally have to remove the black plastics or anything. Just remove the seat and the air box out of here, okay? And then you're left with this. Just the carb sitting in there. It's a little bit tighter because you got the plastics around here, but this is what you'll have. All you need to do is 1/2-inch wrench and remove the idle, or not the idle, the choke. The choke, remove the throttle body right here, remove the fuel line, and then pop off some of these little vent lines, and that's it. Okay, first thing I do, safety glasses because I'm using carburetor cleaner. But I spray off the outside because I'm touching the outside, and if I don't clean it off now when I'm reassembling it, I'll just bring the dirt right back in. I just blast off. There we go. Just remove the bowl with 4 Phillips screws. There we go. The way that's spreading out, there's water and stuff in there. But our floats stay in here. I'll spray this out for a second. I'll just let it sit while I work on some other stuff. There's really not much in there, but there's some stuff. Okay. Now, there's a gasket and stuff in here. Most of the time it stays in here. We can just leave it alone. Don't play with it. Don't, ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, majority of the time you do carbs, you don't need to buy a CARB Rebuild kit and replace all these things because very few parts actually wear. They just get dirty. You just got to clean them. So let's remove the needle. Really gentle. There we go. That just pulls right out, and this will pull out with our needle. It's a little rubber tip needle. If you lose track, this little tab goes into the bowl, points down when it's in it. It's upside down right now. Set that aside. Okay, now we'll remove our main jet right here. This is the most common thing to get gummed up and clogged up. And the main jet is pretty basic. It's just a hole. Spray through it backwards because I can get the tip in there really good. And it's good. Now, if it is clogged up and you're trying to get it unclogged, one of the easiest things to use is actually stranded copper wire. Here we got a piece of copper wire with all little strands. I got most of them bent over. But copper's nice because copper, unlike welding tip cleaners and stuff like that, or steel, copper won't enlarge in the brass and ruin your hole. Because this hole is metered exactly how it needs to be. So, main jet's clean. The idle circuit jet, and it is right next to it. I got a really small flathead screwdriver with a nice tip. It has a really good tip on it. And we'll just unscrew this. And it just comes out. And here is your idle circuit jet. And what it'll have is it'll have a hole in the middle and it'll have a couple holes around the side. So what we're going to do is, I'll actually spray through it backwards. But then when I block off these side holes, block up the back hole, there's a series of 8 little holes, or 8 little holes all around the outside that all need to be clear. And again, if they're not, you can use copper wire to pass through all of them and make sure they're all perfectly clear. This is good. This is clean. Now we'll just spray up through there, through the main jet area. Now, located in here is what's called your emulsion tube. And what that does is air bleeds in through this front, and air comes in and mixes around the outside, and then gas gets pulled up from the bottom, and the air and fuel atomize and get sucked up into the throat of the carburetor and get burned into the engine. But this one, the emulsion tube is fixed in there. You can't pull it out. There's a pin that holds it in, so it just doesn't slide out like on some engines. Now on the front, we're going to have a whole bunch of air passages. On this particular carb, this one's a dummy one. That one's not drilled. Well, this one is drilled, but it's not drilled from here. So this one's dummy. That one's nothing. This is your main air bleed. So this is where air goes in, atomizes with the majority of the fuel. It goes straight back. You can see it spraying out there, so I'm just going to spray through. It actually feeds into the surrounding area around where the fuel gets pulled up for the main jet. And then this one over here is your idle circuit. And I still have my idle adjustment screw right here, but I'm leaving that in because I want to make sure that it's spraying through where I pulled out that idle needle, and it's spraying good. And it should probably actually spray through. Yes, there's a hole. This is the side that attaches to the engine. There's a hole here and there's a hole there, and it should spray through both of them. And I get a good stream through there. I get a good stream up. So that's all working. My whole outer passage is clear, but let's flip it back around. I'm still going to remove my idle adjustment screw, but I'm going to count how many screws it is in so I can set it right back to where it was. So I got about half, one and a half screws in. So I can set it back to exactly where it was. Let's pull this out. It'll just be a basic needle. And yeah, see, you can see that it has grime on it. There's a little spring with it. Take a little spring, but we'll spray in right there. If I spray in through here, it just feeds itself right back out. Spray off the tip of the needle. Really basic. Take it, put it right back in.